Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 139. Upon further review, recorded on March 26, 2021 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt.
And I'm Josh Oliver.
And let's get right on into the show here. So we've got our special guest. You've heard about him so many times. We've just talked about him on the show. Our senior engineering consultant, Josh Oliver, is dropping in to lend his unique view on things to Zoho. And so we're happy to have you, Josh. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we'll start off with some announcement and events. We've got a really, really busy April coming up. Tyler, we need to write the April 1st webinar. We're going to do one on Zoho CRM workflows, beginner and advanced. That's okay. We got 5 days. We'll get to it sometime. And that's going to be on April 1st at 10 a.m. That is a Thursday, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep, it'll be a Thursday.
And it's going to be on a Thursday. And then really happy about this. We're going to have a special CRM Zen show. It's going to be our regular CRM Zen show. But sitting in with us is going to be Raju Vagnesa, and he is the chief evangelist for Zoho. So one of the top dogs over at Zoho. He is one of the best speakers they have at any of their conferences, actively engaged, and he's going to sit in. We're going to talk about looking back at 25 years of Zoho. He's also going to sit in for the whole show and comment on things, and that is going to be pretty cool, I think, to get that perspective on things. So we're really looking forward to that. And then we're doing our regular monthly webinar, Zoho People Overview and Best Practices. That'll be on April 20th, which is our regular Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And then, of course, all of our upcoming events you can find if you go to crmzen.com and click on events. And there are a whole bunch of those coming up. And with that, let's get right on into the news. And it is basically the title of our show. Zoho announced a major update. This has been going on for weeks and we haven't been allowed to talk about it. And then it kind of exploded into the public a little bit last week. But Zoho, we've talked about this in the past, Tyler, Josh, they've got two products. They've got Zoho Campaigns and Zoho Marketing Hub. They're virtually identical. And Zoho made a decision to basically what they said, make some updates and feature functions to campaigns, which was really to gut campaigns. They're going to take everything out of it, so to speak. If you're watching the show, all automations, it's basically autoresponders, reminder loops, SMS, surveys, end of workflow actions, conditions, move to end of workflow, social campaigns, SMS campaigns, just a whole bunch of things, on and on and on and on and on. And the big kicker around this is that they were going to basically, if you purchased anything after April 20th, you were dead and everything was going to happen. They're going to stop all the workflow components 2 days ago, and they actually did, and they sent an email out. And if you had it working right now, it was going to stop working on June 30th. And there was just a ton of blowback. The partner community has a completely separate area where we get to talk. If you're watching the show, I'm showing you just the general Zoho community. And it went a bit crazy. Kevin, you're in the chat room. I noticed you you jumped in on this as well. Everybody, Wayne, I noticed everybody here kind of jumped in on this thing. It was pretty great. It's funny, as I go through, everybody in the chat room was also actively participating in here. At the end of the day, there was actually a post that was over. I don't know what happened, but I think the partner blowback and the community blowback was so much that this morning at 5 hours ago from recording the show, recording it at 9:47 here on Friday the 26th. So I guess at 4:47 this morning, Zoho said, hey, guess what? We made a mistake. We're not going to do this. And
for now.
For now. But, a part of this was, I had made a comment of, look, guys, if you're going to do this, you have to, because one of the things that was going on with this, guys, is they were saying, hey, yeah, don't worry about it, because by June 30th, Marketing Hub's going to be perfect. And by June 30th, we're going to have this one-click migration that's going to migrate you from Campaigns to Marketing Hub. And all of these, oh, don't worry about it by things. And of course, nobody who's running their business on this is going to wait till June 30th. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, guys, why don't you leave everything as it is, everything in place that you want to do, and then go ahead and pull the trigger on this once everything's done, and maybe just make it a simple migration for everybody. And it appears that's what's happening.
Yeah. And I mean, to shed some light on the long-term plan with this, we're not in the position where I don't think their long-term plan is bad, right? Where, Marketing Hub has always been a confusing product where you've had, your email workflows, and you also have a couple website elements like goal seeking and kind of page tracking and things like that. So it's always been in the spot where you wouldn't want to use it, right? Because you would use Page Sense and Sales IQ for the website. You'd use Campaigns for your emailing. And so it's never really made sense. The kind of long-term goal that they're pushing for with Marketing Hub is that they're basically going to use these better applications to do the things that Marketing Hub are doing now, right? So Page Sense will kind of replace some of their web tracking and Sales IQ as well. Campaigns is going to be what powers the emailing, right, that's going out. And so in doing that, their idea here was to simplify campaigns a little bit, right? And kind of strip it down to just be email based, right? And to clarify too, I think a lot of these updates to different workflow actions aren't that big of a deal, right? For example, they're getting rid of a three-way split, but you could still do that with just like a multi-split, right? They're getting rid of end of workflow actions, but really those are just the same actions that you take during the workflow. So a lot of this stuff isn't that big of a deal. A couple key pieces were like SMS. That was the real one that I think pushed a lot of people over the edge, where now you just weren't going to be able to use that, and it's going to be migrated to Marketing Hub eventually. So I think their plan right now is to kind of take a step back, put all the functionality back and keep it for the time being, and kind of fix the migration, really actually roll out the complete product of Marketing Hub, then start to peel back some of the functionality as time goes on, once they have these other things in place, which I think is just going to make the transition make a lot more sense. It's going to not interrupt your business workflow, right? Because I mean, we're in the position actually with a couple customers where, they want to roll out long form workflows that include SMS right now, and they're on CRM Plus, right? Which includes campaigns, not Marketing Hub. So there's a lot of customers that were in kind of a weird spot given this announcement, where it's like, should I start investing in developing this tool, knowing that it's going to change on June 30th and not knowing the exact date when these migration tools are going to be available? So credit to Zoho, they did this a little too fast, but they did take the feedback from, clients and partners to kind of put the pause on this for now.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're getting rid of, or they're thinking about these redundant systems that they have. Because, I mean, really, Campaigns and Marketing Hub, if you look at their workflows, they're identical. So they have all these redundancies in these two applications. And it's good that Zoho is trying to simplify them or make them cohesive, but it just seems like they're taking things away from Campaigns that really should be in Campaigns, and then maybe Marketing Hub could just go away.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, Marketing Hub in its current form is going to go away. Right? Because if you dig into like their long-term plan, they even say like emails in Marketing Hub will be powered by Campaigns, right? And like the web tracking will be powered by Page Sense. So I think a lot of that functionality that's in Marketing Hub now is actually going to go away, and they're just going to replace it with better applications, which in my books, as long as they do this in the right order of operations, it's overall a good change.
Yeah. And I'm proposing, if you're watching this, actually this morning, I dropped a thing in. This is what Tyler and I we've been talking about this for a while, which is, okay, because we've been saying just have one application, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe what I'm saying is do this as a tiered thing. Have the basic edition of Marketing Hub, which is basically campaigns with all the changes that they've had, that they were going to do, right? And then have a pro edition of Marketing Hub, which is the current campaigns as it resides now with all the features, and then have, the enterprise edition. Then they could have one product. You could add features to it based upon, what edition you have. And I think that fits in better with kind of the way Zoho does things anyway. Yeah. Depending on what edition you have, you get more features. And I think that would Like you said, Josh, they're just so similar. It's ridiculous.
And so I think, behind the scenes with these changes, they kind of see campaigns positioned as, just a simpler tool just for emailing for smaller companies that might not need an omni-channel approach to marketing. And then eventually you would basically migrate yourself to Marketing Hub, right, to access the rest of the channels that you might want to use. I think, just making it one product and upgrading rather than migrating might make people a little bit more comfortable, right? But I think that's just probably is the way it is for right now.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we've kind of chatted this one to death, but I'm glad that we have this solution, and I don't know at the end of the day where we're gonna end up with this. It's just, it appears that we will have now a beautiful transition, or a more clean transition than we have right now, which I think will make everybody happy. All right, and moving on in other news, ContactManager is going to EOL here, end of life, basically happening on September 30th. It's funny because as part of the whole campaigns announcement, they said they were going to no longer support syncing with ContactManager. I think that was all just part of this at the end of the day. For those of you who don't know, ContactManager is basically nothing more than that. It's a simple contact manager, the most slimmed down CRM you can possibly have. And it is very dated. I don't think it's been updated in forever. And basically they're saying, just go ahead and move over to Big N if that's the case. So September 30th, for those 6 people still on ContactManager, it's time to move. Do we even see anybody using this, guys?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anyone use it in a long time. And I mean, if you're using it now, moving over to Big N, it's going to be, you can use it for all those same things, note tracking, simple little reminders, but obviously Big N's going to do a lot more for you in the long run.
Yeah, and they've got an entire whole thing on how to migrate over. It's going to be a very, very, very simple thing. So you can just go ahead and switch everything on over, and I think that will be fine. And I can't imagine. It seems like a good decision as they clean up their overall product line there across the board.
Yep.
All right, and in more Zoho news, wow, we had an outage. For those of you. The 23rd, so I guess that was Tuesday, everything was down. It was kind of an ugly morning for about 2 hours and 39 minutes with Desk, Zoho One, CRM, Sales IQ. It was a lot, and it was kind of weird. We were seeing it come up and down, up and down, up and down. Believe it or not, guys, the reason I've heard for this is what we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but they pushed out a major update to the CRM. Mm-hmm. Where they did a whole bunch of UIs, and it appears that the update push to the CRM is what basically killed everything for about 2 hours and 39 minutes. It was interesting, though, as you see that you can kind of get an idea of how apps are segmented in their data centers, because you can see what absolutely stays up and is unaffected and what goes down and how they're doing this. But this took quite a bit of cycles that morning. I don't know about you guys, but I never see my email box light up as quickly as this caused it to. And so, by the way, for those of you, if you go to status.zoho.com, you can see what is going on with Zoho at any time. So it'll tell you where everything is. And then it also tells you, what happens when things go down, all of those various kind of things. If they had an issue, how long the issue lasted for. So it's a pretty good place to go check. And I don't really know anywhere where they kind of post this entire status thing, but this is a good spot to go look. So, kind of worth looking at. You can see anytime anything has gone down. So status.zoho.com, worth keeping in your bookmarks, I think.
Yep.
All right. And that brings us to our updates in Zoho CRM. So Tyler, what do you think of these?
Yes, a couple nice updates here. Continually Zoho over the past year or so has just been, working hard on the CRM UI. I think it's always been one point of criticism. The customers look at it and it's a lot of gray, a lot of white, not a lot of visual clarity, right? As you're kind of looking at a deal specifically. So what they've done, they've added a couple more little components to your deal stage bar, so you can quickly move something to any of your won or lost stages using little thumbs up and thumbs down. They've also, this is kind of a minor thing for when you're configuring the deal. but they've renamed your forecast of the deal as a deal category for a stage, right? So rather than saying that the forecast type is closed won or closed lost, you'll call it the category is closed won or closed lost. Just a minor little UI change. One thing that is built on top of that, though, that's really nice down here at the bottom is you can actually now filter deals based on the stage category. So if I wanted to make a view that showed all deals that are closed won, I could just filter on category is won rather than having to add each individual deal stage. That one I see a lot of use, especially for open stages, because you might add more over time, and then you'd have to go and update every single report, every single custom view that's using those stages. So overall, kind of a couple nice little changes there around deal management.
Have we noticed, is this in custom views as well, or is this only in filters?
I believe it's in custom views as well.
That'd be nice. That'll be nice. They also made another change that we don't have here, which is they completely reorganized activities. Mm-hmm. And they broke them into, you basically your to-dos and your calls and your meetings. And honestly, I'm not a fan. It's it allows for very little customization when you're looking at the related lists. It adds one extra click to complete a task when you're inside of a contact or an account and trying to complete it. So I don't think, has that not been pushed out to the public yet?
Yeah, that's just an early access for partners as of now.
Yeah, that's right. We have that. So hopefully they'll make some changes to that before that comes out, because that it's nice, and I like where they're going with a lot of this stuff. But I think a couple of it could use some usability studies down the road. And also a deal. We've got a manager's view in the CRM dashboard. What do we think about this, guys? Is this going to be like a dashboard that are they saying they're going to give you this built-out homepage, edit as you want, or they're saying it's just its own little? Because you can always build your own custom dashboards. Can you tell me what they're doing here?
Yeah. So basically, the standard way to view these, right, is that you have classic, which is uneditable. It's a big task drop down, deal pipeline. You have a user specific view, and then you'd have one custom dashboard that you could assign per different roles. Basically, now they've added one additional kind of default dashboard that's displayed to anyone in particular roles that are kind of identified as a manager. I like this a lot because it's giving people a good template. That's one thing that we always bump into with dashboards is, they're not really that hard to make yourself, but oftentimes you might just not know the types of things you want to report on. So this is just like a quick way to take a look at this manager dashboard. You could probably find 5 or 6 of the elements you don't care about, and then 2 or 3 that you might want to add, right? And so you can kind of take it, clone it, and then make your own version from there. Behind the scenes too, they've kind of updated some of the UI with these dashboards and how you manage and create them, which are all, I think, nice visual improvements.
If there's any additions with the manager home versus just a regular dashboard?
I think they're all reports that you could make on any dashboard. I don't think anything is like unique to this page. Nothing that I see, at least when I poke around with it. But it's a nice baseline, I think, for a lot of people to work from.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you launch this, they're giving you all the widgets. If you're watching the YouTube video, they're giving you all the widgets we're seeing here. This is how it launches.
Yeah.
Basic. Okay. I guess I missed this 3 days ago. I'll have to go play with that after the show. Good stuff. All righty. And moving right along, Zoho Workerly is using AI-powered photo logging. Now, it's funny. They're saying they talked about this, but I swear, Tyler, we talked about this a while ago. Was this maybe not in Workerly? Was it in People that they were doing this?
People. Yep.
Okay. So for those that don't know, when you're checking in, you can check in on your app, and to verify it is in fact you checking in and not somebody doing it for you, it's basically going to use facial recognition to do such. So I was confused on this. So this is something they did roll into Zoho People a while ago, and now they have made it out to Workerly. And for those of you that don't know, Workerly allows you to manage your temp workers, 1099s, those kind of things. So and it's, man, they're doing a lot of work on this application. It's getting better and better as time goes on. So, all right. And Zoho Cliq has added a new navigation sidebar. Josh, I know you're a big fan of this.
Yeah, Cliq has been doing a few updates here. On the sidebar, you can see your files. They give you access to a few widgets in there. And this was all there previously, but they've organized it a little better.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really like about this, and this is just for me individually, I love the files tab. I love that like I can just pull up a tab and see every file that's been in a chat or channel or conversation that I'm a part of, right? So like when all these, people made these new logos or backgrounds that Josh and I are using, and as I procrastinated and I didn't download them right when I saw them. So I was just able to pull up files and, grab all the different things that we've been, sending back and forth as we got these dialed in.
Yeah,
I think widgets are going to be cool over time as well too. The ability to drop widgets just directly in a tab like that. It's going to be pretty slick.
Yeah, the global search at the top is really nice because it'll search across your files, your messages, channels, everything. And it's really accurate too.
Yeah, it's super nice. We've actually had this for 3-4 weeks, guys. And it's been super nice change. And I just makes Cliq all that more useful. They're just pouring a ton of resources into Cliq. I mean, it is right up there with Slack and everything else. I love this application. They've done
this is our daily driver, and you'll hear in our implementation, we're finding more and more ways to use Cliq as an internal tool. Like it's always been a big part of our business, but as we've continued to grow and build new tools internally, it's really, really cool, all the different things that you can really build out inside of Zoho Cliq.
Yeah, and then Zoho Recruit has added a custom portal. So this is something Zoho has been doing for almost all of their applications, but now you can have custom portals that you can design specific for the needs of your recruits to access their clients, contacts, and candidates. So this is for administrators who want to go in there and have specific access inside the portal. Nice stuff. Nice stuff. I was talking to Raquel about this. She's kind of our recruit person, and she thinks this is going to be a big enhancement.
Yeah, they have a couple portals in Recruit already. I know they have a candidate portal, and then they had like a vendor client portal.
Yep.
So it seems like this is kind of a way that if neither of those fit exactly what you need, maybe you jump in here, create some custom permission sets, and roll it out this way.
It's truly for administrators because they can edit things and create things and add notes. So
it's interesting though. I mean, not too long ago, we were actually engaged with someone to roll out a recruit portal for the vendor side of things. And, we ended up kind of bumping into some limitations there. We ended up just breaking the whole thing out into a creator app that I know you've been building out, Josh.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our default almost now when we need a portal is if it doesn't fit into one of the Zoho tools perfectly, we just, yank everything out into a custom app and do it that way.
Yeah. We've been doing more and more of that, Josh. We need more creator developers, huh?
Lots and lots of creators.
If you're out there, give us a call.
Yeah. And that's not a joke.
It's not. All right. And then rounding out the news here, at least the standard Zoho news, this morning they dropped an announcement for a new bundle called Zoho Marketing Plus. We think it's a new bundle. It basically puts campaigns, social, marketing hub, survey, paid sense, meetings, backstage, and analytics all in one place, along with Work Drive. And it has a brand studio, which is super cool. If you have a Zoho One account, you own all these, but if you try to go to Marketing Plus, you can't really get there. And this whole announcement just appeared by something in communities in the Zoho community saying, hey, guess what? We're launching a Marketing Plus community. Have you guys heard of Marketing Plus before this? Because we don't have anything on it.
No, I think they just recently had announced this. It's an interesting platform. I mean, I kind of think they see it as CRM Plus analog, right, for all your different marketing needs. The one thing that is a little odd about it is it doesn't include the CRM, which really, and I guess this is a perspective thing. Not everyone's on Zoho CRM, but for us, whenever we do a marketing implementation, you want to end up housing all of that data in your CRM.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems like the one missing link here is that, I guess you would plug in an outside CRM to this and, sync contacts in that way. But it is just go ahead.
Yeah, I imagine they have contact management in here through campaigns. And I hope that would tie into all of the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look at this brand studio dashboard is cool. I mean,
that is cool.
It's got all your activities around your campaigns, social posts, webinars, surveys, events, blogs, TV ads, your A/B testing. This is something that, we would want to see. And since you own all of these applications, if you have Zoho One, it would sure be nice if you had access to this brand studio that's part of Marketing Plus. But when you try to do the whole access your Marketing Plus, it just tells you don't have it. If you have Zoho One, you can't get into it. But it's a neat bundle. What's the pricing on this? Let's see.
So and as Rich is chatting here, it's true. There's basically they're trying to compete with Adobe's Marketing Cloud, right? Which includes all of Adobe's products around each of these segments. I will say one nice little kicker they throw in here is WorkDrive. So for all of your different marketing collateral and file management, you don't have to try to store all of that in these other apps. You can basically park a lot of that in WorkDrive and work from there.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. You get one marketer, 1,000 contacts, 10,000 visitors, one brand and 15 gigs of storage. So they're kind of limiting it. I imagine there are upgrades to this. Would you not assume?
I would think so.
Here we go. Get additional marketers at $10 a month. And for every additional marketing, you get additional 1,000 contacts and 5,000 website visitors.
Not cheap on the per contact basis there. That's for sure.
No, and I don't know how this fits if you have Zoho One. It's kind of an interesting thing. It'll probably be
separate. I'd imagine it's kind of like CRM Plus, right? You can't really get to that CRM Plus dashboard without having that subscription itself. So I would think this is probably going to be in that space where it's one or the other with Zoho One.
Yeah. So we are now busy at work updating our resources guides, adding in new bundles and the new pricing. So it looks cool though, guys. I think there's a lot of potential here, so we will see where that goes. All right, moving on to mobile news. Zoho Sheet introduces exclusive iOS and iPad applications. We've talked about this in the past, but I think the entire Zoho team, they're all Mac users. So it appears, most of the time, iOS and really gets these updates ahead of time. But nice stuff for Zoho Sheets. You guys look at this?
Yeah, this is always one of those things that, and we've talked about this before, just things that we can't imagine doing on mobile. I can't imagine pulling up a spreadsheet on mobile. Maybe that's just me. Maybe an iPad would work a little bit better, but always nice, right? I mean, we talk about this all the time, Josh and I do. I would very rather always have an app on my phone or on my computer rather than using a web page if I ever can. So it's nice if you need to pull up a spreadsheet, make a couple last minute edits before you walk into a meeting, you can do that here.
Yep. They've done nice things there. And then kind of one more mobile update is Zoho Mail Android app adds a new alert. You basically can have a folder-based alert in here, which will tell you when a new folder was added.
Why not?
Why not? It's I'm trying to understand. It's kind of a read receipt kind of thing. Yeah, exciting. So you could ask for a read receipt. Folder can be created. I imagine, where's this folder going to be created in? What do you think?
Probably in mail, maybe a folder just for your mail to route to.
So you got a new folder that was added and it's just going to go over there. So you didn't know you created a folder, so it's going to let you know you created a folder. Am I missing something?
No, yeah.
I've read this a couple times.
I think this is if an email is added to that folder, you get a notification.
Well, that I kind of like.
I would think, right? So maybe if you have different rules or, kind of filters, I think they call them inside of Zoho Mail, where, all mails from Brett at Zenatta go into my junk mail folder, but I still want to be notified of them. Yep. I might just set that up and then turn on folder level notifications.
Only Android users.
Yep.
It might already be over at iOS. It's kind of when it's very hard sometimes to judge these things as we go through them. All right, guys, and that brings us to our implementation of the week. Take it away.
Oh, that's right. That's me. So this past week or past few weeks, we've been working on a few different things, and it's all been tied into Creator. It's basically meant to. The idea is we have a bunch of developers that come in every day, and as admin, we'd like to see what they're working on. Or what they intend to work on that day. So inside of Creator, we have a we have a few forms in there, and that's where the developers are submitting their hours. So in Creator, that's kind of where they live. They live in Creator. Every day they come in, they open up their Zenatta portal, and that's where they're living. So at the beginning of the day, whenever they open up Creator, we've set up an automation so that whenever they open up that home screen, it actually pops up a window, and that acts as a stand-up log. So every day they are prompted to fill out what they're going to be doing that day. And after submission, we actually write an API to Cliq, so it notifies all of the admins. Very powerful and actually not as hard to set up as you would think. Cliq API is pretty expansive. There's a lot you can do with the Cliq API. You can get really crazy with it and like mask photos and names. So I've automated a form submission to go to our Cliq channel, and it actually looks like the developer is submitting this stand-up log, and it's just going to our Cliq channel, and it works flawlessly. Actually, it's really nice.
Yeah, and it combines a lot of cool things. I mean, one of the things you've been doing a lot, without going too far down the rabbit hole here with Creator, is you're actually controlling HTML elements that display using Deluge, right? So basically, like once someone has put that log in, it no longer pops up throughout the day because the system knows that they've already submitted it, right? And then what you're doing with the Cliq API is so cool because they submit this form, and it doesn't just tell us in Cliq that they've submitted it. It actually gives us everything that they've submitted, right, into a structured little chat box, right? So that I don't need to go into Creator and look at these logs anywhere, right? They just are all flowing into this channel for us to see. Greg wants to work 8 hours a day. He's focusing on these accounts. He's going to have these things done, and maybe he's stuck on one thing here that he needs help on. And it's really, really cool taking advantage of what Cliq can do when you're hitting the API.
Yeah, and not only are we doing this for stand-up logs, but we've started automating notifications to Cliq for other things like tasks being completed or approval requests that are needed, like a task needs an approval. So once the status is updated to approval, then we get a notification in our Cliq channel to go approve it. And then we can just click a link and it opens it up in a task. So yeah, the Cliq automations are super helpful, especially because it's always on our screen all the time.
Yeah. And is the stuck notification automatic now too as well, or is that coming? That's automatic. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Blocked,
so when a developer gets stuck or blocked, they basically click, they say, and then everybody's notified. They can go take a look at it and collaborate and figure out what they need to do to make it right. But
and it's just nice because as we've kind of taken Zenatta from being basically the three people on this call to now having a team of developers and all these, and we're all very averse to email notifications, but as you grow as a team, you need more reminders, you need more notifications, right? And so because of Cliq's API, we're just able to run that through the natural communication channel for it, which is Cliq, right? And so the greatest thing about it too is, when someone submits a stuck or a blocked notification, it actually goes into a channel where all of the developers live. And so they can help each other out with things. Everyone's notified when there's a stuck and people can plug in as they need. So you can really use it to build very specific notification workflows that are notifying the right people at the right time with super actionable data, just using this type of automation.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, Tyler. You have employees number 1, 2, and 3 on the show today. That's but props to Josh on this. This application, if you're a client of ours, you'll actually access your client portal. That's this application as well. You get emails from us after a meeting with our action items and your action items, and that's this application as well. Every single thing in this Creator application, it talks to projects, it talks to CRM, it talks to Cliq, it's got internal communications, it's calendar management, it's every single thing. And this thing started off as just a little pet project, Josh, I guess, about a year and a half ago? Just kind of
it was about a year and a half ago. I needed
something you're doing on the side.
I just needed a solution to log my hours quicker. And then it grew, expanded, and now we have all of our developers are using it. And then we now expanded it to our clients. So now we have our client portal, and it's all tied to that too. So it's developers tied to clients, and it's all through one application.
Yeah.
It's great.
Fantastic. All right, let's move on to the reads of the week. We actually have two. They're both from HubSpot. I don't know what happened, but they put out some monster blogs this week that were just great. What consumers want to see on company websites. This is just some really, really interesting stuff. A well-designed website, yes, that's important. But, as you kind of go through here, no one wants to see a newsletter sign up, evidently. Sorry about that. 10%, 19% want a blog, 20% want to see case studies, 26% want the physical address, 27% care about product and images and videos, 28% live chat, 30% want social media icons, 31% want an about us page, and then contact us information is 62%. That's kind of interesting. I think that's kind of the way things kind of roll down here. But this really kind of dives a little deeply into what people are looking at, why they want this data, why you need to have it, how you should design things. But I found this to be an extremely good read, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, the focus on the contact us page. I mean, you can speak to any web developer on that, where that's always the key thing. How do we put that in the right spot and kind of bring the eye to it, make it easy to find, so that, once someone's ready to get in touch, they don't have to hunt and peck to try to find where that info is. Not surprising to see that being so high on the page. Another one too, is that about us page, that people really do care about the story of your company and the people that founded it, and, how you've grown and changed over time. So it's, a big part of your website.
We've got to update ours. We got a lot more people to add, and we need to get that story there. I'll never forget, about a year ago, I had some troll just randomly sent me something saying, "You guys are a loser company. You don't have an about us page." Like, well, I guess we need to put that up.
Yeah, it's like kind of rude, but sure, we'll make an about us page.
I agree. We probably need to have one, but I don't think we're losers. So anyway, and then the other article was, do blog posts actually work? And it talks about SEO. And of course, the answer here is yes, but man, oh man, you've really got to focus on SEO. So interesting statistics straight off the bat. Have you ever purchased something from a company after reading a blog post from them? 44 no, 56% yes. So I guess the answer is they definitely do work, huh?
And I think the trick here is quality too, making sure that they're not fluff pieces, they're actual useful information. I mean, for us, we kind of redid a lot of our blog strategy going into 2021 because of that same thing. We felt like some of our blogs just weren't super valuable, actionable info that you can walk away with like one or two tips or, suggestions or ideas, so we really took that to heart and fixed up our own blog strategy. But it is a huge thing outside of just SEO. It's like, once someone's on your site, they want to know that you're engaged with the space that you work in, that you're aware of what's going on, new trends, and
yep,
it's a big part of the strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we sit down with the marketing team at the beginning of each quarter and lay out what is it? We want 8 blogs a month, right? 2 a week drop out. Yep. So, basically over the 12 weeks, we're looking at, hey, here's all the blogs we want and we basically come up with every single blog concept and general title that has to be done and has to be written. And normally they're kind of tied into our overall strategy of not only SEO, but we're going to be doing a webinar that month. So let's talk about that, right? So if the webinar is on Zoho People, we'll say, okay, let's do one on, top 5 things every HR department should focus on, right? It has nothing to do with people, but kind of going down that load. And this really kind of talks about, and then there has to be calls to action. Anyway, super well thought out article here. And I just, I love this kind of stuff. And as a nice tie-in there, Tyler, why, you are correct. If you want quality blogs, head over to ours. No, we have rethought this. So we've got 2 this week, 7 ways to grow your YouTube channel. This is near and dear to our heart. Our growth in our YouTube channel has been amazing. It is a lot of work, and we have learned a lot. And we kind of are sharing a lot of that here with you. But I will say the one thing that is truly key is not only putting out quality videos, but consistently
Yep.
putting out quality videos. And
Yep.
that is a process.
Yeah. And it definitely takes a lot of time, it's one of those things you just have to commit to, so Brett and I, when we're in 2021, we've started doing these beginner series videos. So we do one of those per week. And so that means once a month, we put a 2-hour block on our calendar where we're going to create all those videos. And sometimes we're both super, super busy. We're all coming off back-to-back calls, but every month we get on that scheduled event. We got to make our videos. So it's one of those things that, if you're going to do it, you just got to commit, even when you don't really feel like making one, because, it's all about that consistency.
And you're usually hungover, which makes it just all that much more difficult. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those interesting things. I mean, I think we mentioned a couple shows back, but YouTube is the second biggest search engine right behind Google. So, and Google loves recommending videos when people search. So there's a lot of reasons to be on YouTube.
Yeah, and we talked about, and you do hit critical mass. There is, stick with it. It's very painful if you're starting your channel. The growth is slow, but there is this, you've heard about it over and over again. All of a sudden, it'll just start to take off. It is true. It will start to take off, and it drives a ton. It can drive just a ton of business to you. We actually no longer do Google AdWords because everything kind of flows in from YouTube. I think we've got 900 and something subscribers now. But the interesting part about that is there's 90,000 unique visitors a month, right? So you get like a 1% subscribe. So the traffic and the subscribers to the actual traffic are not necessarily what you would think they are. So interesting stuff. All right. And then social media policies your company should adapt. Another nice article here kind of talking about, should your company have a social media policy so, people don't go off and say things? And this is more and more important in today's day and age. My final thoughts, if I was to write this article, which I didn't, is that nobody should be on social media or ever tweet anyway, because it's just going to come back and cost them. Doesn't matter if it was from 10 years ago or not. It's going to come back and haunt you eventually. All righty. And moving on to our application of the week. Have you ever used Feedly?
Not.
All right, this is all on me. This is a news aggregator app, and it is absolutely my favorite, and I live in it every single day. And what it allows you to do is pull in feeds from virtually anywhere that you can conceivably pull. If an RSS feed, any website, if a website doesn't have an RSS feed, it does its best to scrape it and bring it in. You can also pull in things from YouTube, any digital publication. There's a free version, which is great. I've used that for years. I like to support these guys. So I got their little $12 a month version, which gives you this really cool thing called Leo, which kind of goes in and does all sorts of AI for you and can kind of recommend articles. And I like it a lot. But if you're watching YouTube, I'm kind of showing my Feedly, and it's what am I interested in? So I've got news. I'm a coin collector, so I have those feeds. I've got various people I follow, home automation and streaming, technology blogs, WordPress. I constantly need about that. The CRM Zen Show, which not only includes us but other things. You can kind of click into these. You can see all the sources that I'm rolling up into each and every one of these. So on the news side, Al Jazeera, Associated Press, BBC, and The Economist, right? So those are the feeds I want to follow, and then they just come in, and you can refresh this at any time. Hit the Today feed. It'll bring in just the very, very latest news, and you can just get your quick little news feeds in a very, very quick period of time and go through it. Super easy to bring anything in. You basically just say, I want to add a new feed. You click the button. It gives you all sorts of categories. You can just put in a URL. You can do Google keywords. So bring stuff in that I want to search. You can bring in Twitter feeds, Reddit feeds. You can bring in newsletters. I mean, man, oh man, oh man, this is what we used to call an RSS reader. It's kind of more than that now, but just a great way to kind of condense your news. So if you're tired of, Apple News or Google News, and you just can't kind of get those tweaked just exactly the way you want them, this allows you to do it. It also, by the way, has its own built-in reader. So when you click something, some articles it'll give you a read. You don't kind of have to go out. Some of them will give you the whole article. Some of them you have to click out to get the article, but it gives you an idea. You can bookmark them, add them to folders, send them to various places, add them to your WordPress blog. Man, it goes on and on. Again, I love this application. I don't know if you guys use anything like this or not.
Looks like a great alternative to social media.
Well, it's a great way I find that when I just go to general, news sites, I'm just like, man, it's just brutal. It's all clickbait and crazy headlines. And so if you can kind of weed those out, you can get a lot more done anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And that brings us to the tip of the week. Tyler, this is the last of the beginner series we did last month.
Yeah, so this one is on Zoho Sign, kind of walking through just all the various settings, right? Kind of highlighting things that you want to check as you roll this out for yourself or your company. And everything from customizing some of the email templates through setting up reminder options, doing cloud backup, kind of all those key baseline steps and settings that you want to check off as you roll this out.
So take a look at that. And that actually is going to wrap up our beginner series on Zoho Sign. So we now need to go record another batch of these for next month. We're not going to do one. There won't be a beginner series next week, I think, because we've got our workflow series coming out. But then after that, we're going to we'll record it. I don't know. What do you want to do it on?
I guess it'll be a game day decision.
We'll do it then. All righty then. And that brings us to our Q&A. What do we got today?
So we have one question from Jessica here. Got an Excel document, multiple tabs, lots of formulas. Basically, it's like a proposal and services pricing calculator and things like that. So she's uploaded to Zoho Sheets and formulas were busted. Will Zoho ever support all of the formulas in Excel? I don't use Zoho Sheet a whole lot in my day-to-day. I know you do a little bit more than I do, Brett. Might depend on the particular functions. I know they always try to be as in line as humanly possible with some of these other tools, but it is hard to beat Excel.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had an Excel sheet bust. I know that Zoho has renamed some of their functions. And they've given them slightly different names than they have than are in Excel. And there's just a few of them that are like that. I'm wondering if that's what it is, Jessica. It's just a function has just a slightly different name. But it's a super formula heavy. Huh.
Yeah, so if you have a lot of formulas depending on each other, and one of them is off with Zoho Sheets, then the rest of them will probably break.
The whole thing is just going to come cascading down. They've been adding more and more. They've been going their own way. They've been adding some crazy functions that you don't see in any spreadsheet software, which has been great. But I don't know. I'd be curious to see I'll have to look and see what the differences in some of the functions are. And they really shouldn't do it. Everybody should stick to the same naming convention in all of those spreadsheets, or have a translator if that's going to be the case. But my guess is that it's a slight function name that's causing the issue, or there are functions in Excel that just are not supported anywhere else. And it could be that as well. Also, I wanted to say to Rich that yes, Leo was useless in Feedly, but it has drastically improved. I'm finding the recommendation engine has drastically improved, and there's a whole lot more you can do with it. They're doing some interesting things over there. They'll even sit down with you and give you a private 1-hour tutorial on using the whole thing. So might be worth reaching out. So great application there. All right. And it looks like that is going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to our show today. If you have any questions, please send them over to us at Zenatta.com or CRMZen.com. And if you don't want to go there and use the contact forms, you can do info@Zenatta.com or info@CRMZen.com and just email us that way.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes as well as show notes with links to the stories we discussed today. As always, you can follow us on your favorite social media platforms and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app, as well as on YouTube. We'll see you next Monday.
Bye.